Hello everyone, it's Maria here from Pepperly Rose Paper Crafting. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to do a technique video. This is something I recently discovered for myself, and then I realized others have done it on the internet as well, but I had no idea. But what I discovered is that you can use your watercolor pencils not only with a colourless blender pen, but you can also use them with a Copic marker, a zero colourless blender, or any other kind of colourless alcohol blender, and it actually blends really nice together. And I was quite shocked because the blender pen gives really good results. However, the problem with the blender pen is, and especially when there's a lot of ink in it, is it peels the paper and you don't have a lot of room to move for blending. However, I found the Copic marker blends so well, and on regular cardstock like Whisper White, say for example, of Stampin' Up's cardstock, which is what I generally use for everything that I do. So I thought I would show you two sides, one with the blender pen, one with the Copic marker, and you can have a look and see the difference. The beauty with the Copic marker, I think, more so, is that you can layer colours on it and you can blend it off really nicely and smoothly. It'll give you a really nice smooth finish. But as I said, with the blender pen, it generally, the paper peels and it takes away some of the image as well if you keep blending at it all the time. It still works well, but I think the finish from a colourless alcohol marker like a Copic or whatever brand you have works really well. So I thought, what the hell, I'm going to give this a go. And the beauty of it is as well is you can stamp with a water-based ink, so you don't have to go to the trouble of getting stays on or anything else like that. You can use watercolour, water-based ink, and Memento as well works really great with this as well as it would with alcohol markers. So this is all new to me, but I was very, very excited to discover this. And I thought I was a genius, but I really wasn't. In the end, other people had discovered it as well. But I thought, you know what? I'm so pleased that I'm going to be doing this now forever. And the beauty with Copic markers is that they're refillable, so I can buy refills. So that makes it economic for me. And another beauty thing is I don't have to buy expensive markers to get a whole heap of colours. I really love my Faber-Castell watercolour pencils. You can use any other kind of watercolour pencil you like. But I love the Faber-Castell. They're really good quality. So I'm just stamping just this little sunflower image there twice in basic grey ink from Stampin' Up. And this will just show you the difference between a blender pen and an alcohol marker, which is amazing to me. I wish I had discovered this earlier. So if you like the look of alcohol markers but not the price, this is like a cheat's way of doing it. So I'm going to colour them both exactly the same way. So I am going to mark them, so this one for blender and this one for Copic. Okay, so alcohol blender and then Copic. I'll say Copic because that's what I've got. So I'm just going to lower you down so you can have a look and see up close what I'll be doing. And I will be putting some music to this whilst I'm doing that, and then I'll talk to you after I finish. So enjoy. with both the blender pen and the Copic marker. I am by no means an expert, so I'll just bring you back out again because it's a bit close. I'm by no means an expert on colouring, so I just want you to see the difference. So here's the blender pen, and as you can see here, I'm not sure if you can see that, the paper has peeled, see that? The paper has peeled for the blender pen side, and this is now the Copic marker side. And to touch, it's incredibly smooth. On the underside, there is no colour coming through. This warps a little with the blender pen. Now, I've been using blender pens for years, so I really do like them. However, if you want to use watercolour pencils on Whisper White cardstock without using anything special in terms of paper, and if you don't have the budget for alcohol markers, and as we know, they can be very expensive, and I know Copic markers like this one can be $11, $12 per marker, unless you have them on special or on sale, and then to buy the refill costs roughly the same, but you get many uses out of it. So I don't know about you, but I feel that the colour is more blended, smoother with the Copic, and you can actually see the difference between the light and the dark shading on this one. Whereas with the blender pen, you can't really see the difference. It's not easy. And this dries quickly too. Just bear with me, the battery's going dead, and I'll be back in a second. That. See, I'm not sure if you can tell with this, but this has peeled, and also the colour of the stamp, the stamping colour, has remained intact on this one, as opposed to this one, which has kind of been peeled away and washed out a little bit. And I find that there's a good gradient of colour here with the shading between the Copic and the blender pen, and I am really, really, really pleased with using a colourless blender alcohol pen marker versus the blender pen. The blender pen is really good if you're using watercolour pencils on and inks on watercolour paper. It really blends it nicely. If you want to use regular Whisper White without going to the trouble of buying watercolour paper, then it's not really the best. I mean, for me, it did a good job for so many years. However, I much prefer the finish of the Copic marker versus the blender pen. So I'll just show you up close again, and you can make that kind of call yourself. And as I said, I'm not an expert colorist, so I'm discovering things all the time. And discovering this today, for me, was massive. I actually went to my local Officeworks store to pick up some laminating pouches, and I've noticed that they had these available, and normally they're sold out. So I thought I'll grab one today because it was a good opportunity, and I'm really pleased with this. And the brilliant thing is as well is this has refills, so this will serve me well for a long time, and it'll be cheaper in the long term to have this Copic marker versus blender pens and what have you. So let me know your thoughts, which of these two you prefer. And I thought I'd just pass on to you. You can use your watercolour pencils with a Copic marker to blend out all of the strokes, the pencil strokes, and make it look almost like a finish of an alcohol marker. So that's my quick video today for you. It's a nice quick one, but I just thought I'd pass on this tip for you. So if you happen to have watercolour pencils and a colourless blender, alcohol blending marker, experiment and see how you like it, and if it will save you money too. So you invest in a good set of watercolour pencils, and if you buy them on sale, it's even better. And you don't need 1,000,001 different colours of alcohol markers, and this combination I think is dynamite. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I hope you all have fun with this idea. And oh, by the way, you can actually layer on colours. Why don't we do that now? If you let it dry for a while, you can layer on colours with the alcohol marker. So let's do that now very quickly. Layer on another lot of colour. So you can see, I'll lower you down again. So you can see how this blends out. So I'll just do this quickly. And I'll do that on the other one as well, so let's be fair. Because I like to be fair with what I do and to show you what else you can do with your products and not spend the earth to get similar looks. So let's try the blender pen. I'll just scribble off onto the other piece of paper there. Gosh, I'm lost for words. Isn't that terrible? And let me know which of these two you prefer in the end. I'll just do the petals of the flower. Just go over the top of each petal. Oops, sorry, out of range there. Let's do Copic. Almost done. Okay. So I'll just zoom you out, but I'll bring this up again. I don't know about you, but for me, for my, my personal opinion, I really think that the colours are a lot more vibrant and better blended on the Copic one than they are on the blender pen. The blender pen is really washed out, and if you go more to try and blend that out, it really does pill the paper, as you are probably aware. So, and it makes that image, stamped image, really dull, like it's taken away the colour from that. I really much prefer and it also looks dirty. I'm not sure if you've noticed that. That looks a lot dirtier than this one, which looks more clean and more vibrant. And I just want to show you too, just for fun. Oops, sorry about that. Just want to show you just for fun too. When you stamp, I'll just stamp with this again, but I'll just stamp like half and there. Now that's just roughly. What I'm going to do there as well is show you when you put a blender pen across the stamp here. Oops, that's because it has colour, so ignore that. But just look at the colour. Oops. And then I'll go across now with the Copic, and I've got a broad tip here, so I'll use that. Okay. Look at the difference. Now, just ignore the fact that I had a little bit of colour there, but check out how the image is a little bit like blurred and the colour's lifted off versus the Copic, which is intact. So I thought that was really interesting. I hope you found it interesting too. And yeah, so you can get, as I said, watercolour pencils, which are a lot more inexpensive than Copic markers, and a whole heap of them. And you can layer on colours if you let it dry between applications. And it doesn't take long with an alcohol marker to get that dry. It only takes like a minute or two. The blender pen is similar. It's kind of quick drying, but at the same time, it ruins the integrity of the paper. And if you look at the back, check that out. That's kind of warped there where I coloured, and over here nothing. So yeah, I'm really surprised. Copic marker with your watercolour pencils, dynamite combination. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know your feedback of which ones you prefer. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.